My name is Alyssa Grayson, and I'm 28 years old. If you ask my mother, she'd probably say I changed the moment I moved from Dallas to Seattle. The city turned me cold, ungrateful, selfish, all her favorite adjectives. The truth is, I didn't change. I just finally started paying attention. I live in Seattle now, working as an architect. It's not glamorous the way TV shows make it look, no dramatic skyline shots every morning. But I like it. I design homes that real people actually live in. Places where kids leave fingerprints on glass doors and dogs scratch up the hardwood. It pays the bills and keeps my brain busy, which is more than I can say for most of my childhood. My family is still in Dallas, mom, dad, my twin sister Lily, and our younger brother Ryan. Growing up, Lily and I were that cliché twin duo, but only on the outside. She was the loud one, the social butterfly who'd strike up a conversation with a bored cashier and walk away knowing their life story. I was the quiet twin, the one building Lego houses in the corner while she performed concerts on the backyard deck. We were opposites, but we had that twin thing. Same crooked smile, same weird jokes, same unspoken us versus the world feeling. For a long time, I truly believed nothing could wedge itself between us. After college, life did what life always does. It pulled us in different directions. I got an offer from a Seattle firm that felt too good to pass up. Lily stayed in Dallas, went into marketing, and Ryan floated through community college trying to figure out what he wanted. I promised myself distance wouldn't turn into disconnect. I flew home for everything that mattered: holidays, birthdays, even random family dinners if flights weren't outrageously priced. I didn't want to be that sibling who vanished and then acted surprised when nobody called. And for a while it worked. Then the calls turned into texts. The texts turned into short replies, and those started taking longer and longer to arrive. You know that feeling when you can tell something is off even though nobody said anything out loud? That creeping, icy awareness that you've somehow shifted from us to extra? That's what it felt like. Conversations with my mom started to sound scripted, polite, like I was a coworker she needed to update, not a daughter she missed. One week she'd guilt-trip me for forgetting where I came from. The next week she'd ignore my messages completely. She loved to say, "You chose to leave, Alyssa," like Seattle was a betrayal instead of a job opportunity. Then came the day I stopped being paranoid and started being sure. I was at my desk during lunch, balancing a sad little Tupperware of leftovers on one knee and scrolling through my phone. Suddenly, my notifications blew up. Instagram tags, one after another. I opened the app. There it was, a full-blown baby shower for Ryan. Blue and white balloons, cupcakes with tiny baby faces on them, a banner across my parents' living room that read, "Welcome, baby Nolan." My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might be sick. Ryan was having a baby, my little brother, the kid who used to steal my headphones and pretend it was an accident, and nobody had told me a thing. Not a call, not a text, not even a lazy, "Oh, by the way." The photos kept coming. Boomerangs of Lily laughing, mom posing with relatives I hadn't seen in years, dad holding a tiny onesie like it was made of glass. The whole extended family was there. Everyone but me. For a few minutes, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was thrown together last minute. Maybe it was a surprise and they'd call me afterward. Maybe. Then I saw the cake. White frosting, blue writing. "We can't wait to meet you, baby Nolan." That cake didn't scream last minute. I called mom, straight to voicemail. I texted Lily. "When did this happen?" 2 hours later, she replied, "Oh yeah, sorry. It was kind of last minute. We didn't think you'd fly all the way down for a baby shower." My jaw clenched. Because yes, I would have flown down. I'd flown down for less. But apparently celebrating my brother becoming a dad was where they finally drew the line on bothering me. When I did get my mom on the phone later, she sighed dramatically. "You live too far away, Alyssa. We didn't want to pressure you with short notice." "Pressure me?" I repeated. "You didn't even give me the option." She slipped into her favorite role, misunderstood martyr. "You always twist everything. We were trying to be considerate." Considerate, right. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing other things. Darker things. Family photos would appear on Facebook and Instagram. Dinners, beach days at the lake, game nights. In some photos, I'd recognize the outfit I wore the last time I'd flown in, except in the posted version, my body ended at a shoulder near the edge of the frame. Literally cropped out. At first, I laughed it off. Bad framing, no big deal. Then I noticed the captions. All my favorite people in one place. Family dinner night with everyone. Everyone, as long as everyone didn't include me. Ryan texted me once, after I didn't comment on another photo. Don't take it personal, Alyssa. You know how mom gets. Yeah, I knew exactly how mom gets. She'd been running that family like a one-woman production company for years. She chose the script, assigned the roles, and if you didn't read your lines the way she wanted, she rewrote you right out of the story. Apparently, my move to Seattle meant I'd missed too many rehearsals. After the baby shower slap in the face, I stopped reaching out as much. Not out of spite, at least not at first, but out of self-respect. If they wanted me in the picture, they could pick up the phone. I found out my nephew was actually born from another Facebook post. A photo of Ryan holding a newborn, captioned, "He's here." No group text, no quick, shaky video call from the hospital, just a tagged post like I was a distant acquaintance. By summer, my presence in that family had become optional. Convenient in stories, irrelevant in reality. But I wasn't done yet. The final slap came dressed in gold foil. I was scrolling through my email one morning when my phone buzzed with a DM from my cousin Emma, the only person who still treated me like a human being and not a malfunctioning ATM. "Hey, are you coming to Lily's engagement party tomorrow?" I stared at the message, my brain refusing to process the last word. "Tomorrow," I typed back. "What engagement party?" She sent a picture, and my heart sank. An invitation card, cream background, gold lettering, fancy font. Engagement celebration, Lily and Tyler, Saturday, 7 o'clock p.m. I just sat there, phone in my hand, waiting for it to turn into a joke. It didn't. The next day, my feed was flooded again. Lily in a white dress. Mom crying happy tears. Dad giving a toast. A slideshow playing old family photos on a projector. Our childhood scraped out of the past and displayed on a wall like they hadn't been actively erasing me from the present. 80 people, Emma later said. Family, friends, neighbors, co-workers. Everyone, except me. Emma texted again. "Everyone's asking why you didn't show. Your mom said you couldn't make it." I typed back, "That's funny, I wasn't invited." After that, it spread. Uncles calling, aunts sending awkward, "Sorry you couldn't be there" messages. They genuinely believed I'd just decided not to show. Mom had told them I was too busy with work. When I finally got her on the phone, she sounded almost offended that I was upset. "It was just a small dinner, Alyssa. Nothing formal." "You rented a venue," I said flatly, "with a slideshow and catering." "You're being dramatic. You live so far away. It didn't make sense to spend money on another plane ticket. This was Lily's day. We didn't want tension." I almost laughed. Tension. Right. Tension, also known as the consequences of your own behavior. But it was the money that snapped the last thread. About a month before the party, Mom had called, sobbing about Dad's dialysis bills stacking up. She sounded frantic, terrified. I wired her a couple $1,000s that same day. For Dad, I'd told her, for medical stuff. A week after the engagement party, I saw a comment under one of Lily's posts. "Big thanks to your sister for helping with the costs. That was so generous of her." My sister? Me. The money I'd sent for my father's treatment had helped pay for a party I wasn't even invited to. When I confronted Mom, she said, "Don't twist things, Alyssa. It all goes to family expenses in the end." "Right," I said. "And somehow I'm the only one paying those expenses." She sighed like I'd ruined her day. "You always make everything a fight. We did what we had to. You wouldn't understand unless you were here." No apology, no shame, just the same script. I hung up the phone and sat in the quiet of my apartment, staring at the blank TV screen like it might have answers. That was the night it clicked. I wasn't a daughter anymore. I was a line item, a convenient resource with hurt feelings they didn't have time for. And the worst part? They truly didn't see anything wrong with it. Lily texted 2 days later. "Mom said you're upset. It wasn't personal. It was just easier this way." That word lodged itself in my chest like a splinter. Easier. Easier to leave me out. Easier to lie. Easier to edit me out of the family narrative than admit they'd chosen to stop showing up for me. That night, something inside me flipped. Not a dramatic breakdown, not a screaming match over the phone, just a quiet click. I turned off the group chat notifications. I stopped calling, stopped sending birthday texts. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty for stepping back. I was done chasing people who had already rewritten the story without me. I didn't know it yet, but this was just the calm before a storm my mother was about to manufacture herself. Because apparently, cutting me out of everything wasn't enough. She still needed me close enough to control, and she was about to fake the one thing she knew I could never ignore. I didn't plan on making a statement, not at first. I picked up the wedding invitation again that night, ran my fingers over the raised lettering, and felt nothing. No anger, no shock, no sadness. Just confirmation. Confirmation that I wasn't a daughter or a sister in that family. I was a prop, a name they used when convenient and erased when it wasn't. Julian came over later that evening, letting himself in with the spare key. He dropped his backpack by the door and kissed my cheek. "You okay?" he asked, noticing the invitation on the table. I forced a smile. "My sister's getting married." "That's great, right?" "Sure," I said, if I were actually supposed to be there. He picked up the card, skimmed it, and his brows pulled together. "No +1?" "No Alyssa either," I said. "Not really." He hesitated. "Do you want to go?" I shook my head. "No, not like this." He didn't push. That was one of the things I loved about him. He didn't try to fix everything with platitudes. He just nodded, pulled me into his chest, and held me. That night, after he left, I sat cross-legged on the floor staring at the invitation, a stupid piece of cardstock that somehow weighed more than any argument we'd ever had. I didn't want revenge. I wanted honesty. So I decided to give them some. I ordered one of those luxurious black gift boxes, the kind with satin lining, magnetic lid, and gold trim that screams expensive before you even open it. I filled it with soft tissue paper, folded a single card, and wrote in clear, steady handwriting. "Congrats on finally achieving what Mom always wanted, a family without me in it." No signature, no return address. Just truth. I sent it express to Lily's house and didn't think about it again. Not until the explosion started. 3 days later, my phone lit up. "Mom, missed call." "Lily, missed call Dad. Missed call Ryan. Missed call." Then the text came pouring in. "How could you be so cruel? Is this supposed to be funny? You embarrassed us. You went too far, Alyssa." I ignored every one of them. Not because I didn't have a response, but because the point had already been made. By nightfall, the family group chat was apparently in full meltdown mode. Emma, my cousin, the only sane one, texted me privately. "Alyssa, what did you do? It's chaos here." "Good," I replied. "Maybe they'll read something for once." She sent a laughing emoji, followed by, "Honestly, they needed this." For the first time in months, I slept like a person who didn't owe anyone an explanation. 2 days of blissful silence passed. Then an unknown number called. I almost let it ring out, but curiosity got me. "Alyssa, it's Mark." Uncle Mark, my mom's older brother. One of the few family members who'd never treated me like a fragile egg or an ATM. A man who believed in fixing fences, telling the truth, and drinking his coffee black because life already has enough sugar. "You caused a small earthquake," he said, half laughing. "Well," I said, "good to know I still make an impact." His tone shifted, becoming serious. "I didn't call to scold you. I called to tell you something important." I sat straighter. "You're not wrong," he said plainly. "Your mom's been like this for years. Controlling, manipulative. She twists every story until she's the victim. You grew up thinking that was normal, but it's not." Hearing that from him, it hit different. Mark wasn't emotional. He wasn't dramatic. If anything, he was annoyingly blunt. So when he validated me, it wasn't comfort. It was truth. "I'm going to dig a little deeper," he continued. "I've got a feeling she's been hiding things. Financial stuff. Family stuff. I'm going to find out." "You don't have to do that," I said quietly. "Oh, I know," he said. "I want to." He paused. "And Alyssa, you're not crazy. You've just been the only sane one in a house full of people pretending everything is fine." My throat tightened. I hadn't realized how badly I'd needed someone, anyone, to say that. A week later, he texted, "Check your email. You'll want to see this." When I opened the attachments, I had to blink multiple times to convince myself they were real. Screenshots, dozens of them, from the family-only group chat, the one I'd been excluded from. Mom had written, "Don't tell Alyssa the date. She'll book a flight. She always does." Then, "He left us for Seattle. He made his choice. Why should we include her?" And later, "She'll find out and make it about herself anyway." Ryan chimed in once. "What do we tell her if she asks?" "Say she's busy. That's always true enough." It felt like watching my own erasure in real time. But then there were the recordings. Mark had gotten wind that my mom was hosting a family dinner at his house and decided, instinctively, brilliantly, to set his phone to record. I pressed play. Background chatter, forks clinking, someone laughing. Then Mom's voice, clear, cold, confident. "Alyssa left us for that city life. I'm done pretending she's part of this family." Another voice, "So, what do we tell people?" "Tell them she's too busy. She always is. The less she knows, the better." The tone wasn't sad, it was satisfied, as if erasing me was a victory. I paused the audio halfway through and sat there trembling, not with anger, but with clarity. They didn't forget me. They didn't accidentally leave me out. They deliberately removed me. And they were proud of it. My phone buzzed. Mark calling. "You heard it?" he asked. "Yeah," I whispered. "Every word." "Good," he said, "because I'm not keeping this quiet. I've invited everyone to dinner this Sunday. Your mom will be there. I'm going to play the recording." "Mark, won't that start a war?" He barked a laugh. "That war started when she decided to lie about you. I'm just setting the record straight." Sunday night, I got a text from Emma. "Alyssa, holy shit!" Then a long description. Mark pressed play. Everyone went silent. Mom's face drained of color. Dad looked like someone had punched the air out of him. When it ended, Mark said, "You've all let her twist things for years. Alyssa didn't leave the family. You pushed her out." Mom stammered something about privacy and betrayal, but no one bought it. She grabbed her purse, stormed out. Lily followed. Ryan trailed behind, confused and embarrassed. Dinner ended early, but something fundamental had shifted. For the first time, the truth wasn't in my head. It was on the table, in front of everyone. That night, I canceled every automatic payment I'd been covering for them. The car insurance, the internet bill, the emergency loan Lily never repaid. Gone. Then I sent one final text to my mother. "You don't have to worry about my money anymore. You wanted me gone. You've got it." No reply. Instead, Ryan texted, "You're making Mom cry. This is unnecessary." I didn't respond. For once in my life, it wasn't my job to fix her mess. Mark messaged later. "You did the right thing. Sometimes cutting people off is the only way to make them realize they lost you long ago." He was right. That night, something inside me finally let go. Not of them. I'd let go of them months ago. But of the guilt. The guilt they'd trained me to carry. The guilt they counted on. I fell asleep with a lightness in my chest I hadn't felt since childhood. But peace, I would soon learn, doesn't last long when you've lived your life with a mother skilled in emotional warfare. And the next person to reach out wasn't her. It was the last person I expected. My father. The last person I expected to hear from was my dad. He'd always been the quiet one in the house, the man who let my mother handle everything because it was easier that way. Easier for him, maybe, not for me. So when I saw his name pop up in my inbox, not the usual shared family email, but his personal work account, I just stared at it. The subject line was simple. "Hey." For a moment, I considered deleting it. I didn't owe him anything. Not after the porch scene. Not after he sat there chewing nachos and pretending nothing was wrong while I unraveled. But curiosity won. I clicked it open. "Alyssa, I know I don't deserve a response, but I owe you an apology. I let things go too far. Can we talk? No interruptions, just you and me." There was no manipulation in it, no guilt, no "your mother is upset" or "this is tearing the family apart." Just honesty. And that alone made it feel almost foreign. I typed back. "Okay." We set up a video call for later that night. When the call connected, he looked older. Not physically, emotionally. His shoulders were slumped, eyes tired in a way I'd never seen. Without my mom hovering nearby, he looked smaller somehow, or maybe just human. "Hey, kiddo," he said softly. It wasn't the condescending tone he used when Mom fed him her version of events. It was gentle, cautious. "Hey," I said. For a while, neither of us spoke. It was the first honest silence we'd shared in years. Then he let out a long, shaky breath. "I've been a coward." I blinked. I didn't expect that. Not from him. He continued, voice low. "I let your mother run everything. I thought staying quiet kept the peace. But all it did was let her hurt you. And I went along with it because it was easier." There was that word again. Easier. A word that had been used to justify my erasure more times than I could count. "You were there," I said quietly. "Every time she lied, every time she twisted things, you saw it." He nodded, eyes shining with guilt. "I know, and I'm sorry. I didn't think she'd go that far." "You sat on the porch and watched TV while I was flying across the country thinking you were dying," I reminded him. My voice didn't break. It didn't even shake. It was just tired. He squeezed his eyes shut. "I didn't know what she told you until after. She said you were overreacting and that she'd called because she missed you. I didn't realize." He stopped, swallowed hard. "God, Alyssa, I failed you." Silence again, but different this time. "You didn't just fail me," I said. "You helped her erase me." He didn't argue. He didn't defend her. He didn't defend himself. He simply nodded. "You're right." For a moment, I didn't know what to do with that. I'd spent so long expecting denial that the honesty threw me off balance. "I can't undo what's been done," he said quietly, "but I can stop enabling her now." That made my chest tighten. "What does that mean?" He looked away for a second, then back at me with resolve I'd never seen from him. "I'm leaving," he said. The room around me went still. You're leaving Mom? I whispered. I packed a bag this morning, he said. Told her I needed space. Real space. I'm staying with Mark for now, but he hesitated. I'd like to come see you in Seattle, if you'll have me. It was the first time in my life he'd ever asked me anything instead of telling me. I nodded slowly. Come, I said. We'll figure it out. He smiled, small, uncertain, but real. And that was how, a week later, my father arrived in Seattle with nothing but a single suitcase and the weight of decades he was finally ready to put down. He didn't try to talk about Mom. He didn't apologize every 5 seconds. He didn't force family on me the way she always had. He just helped. He fixed things around my apartment. A loose hinge on the bathroom door, a wobbly table leg, a crooked outlet cover I'd ignored for months. Each repair felt like a confession. He never said it outright, but I could hear it in his voice when he'd mutter, "There, that's better," or when he'd step back after tightening a screw, nodding with quiet satisfaction. It wasn't the hinge he was fixing. It was us. We ate cheap takeout on the couch the first night. He told me about his first job at a construction company, how he used to sketch houses on napkins before life got too heavy and responsibilities drowned out dreams. I get your job now, he said, smiling faintly. I get why you love it. For the first time, I saw him for who he was outside of Mom's orbit, a man who'd once had passions, dreams, opinions, before he let someone else's gravity pull him into silence. A few days later, my phone buzzed. A message from Ryan. I didn't realize Dad actually left. I'm sorry, Alyssa. I didn't get it before. It wasn't much, but it was something. Thanks, I replied. Nothing more. An hour later, Lily messaged. You split up Mom and Dad. Hope you're happy. I responded. They split themselves. She left me on red. The truth always sticks in the throat of someone who's been swallowing lies their whole life. That night, Dad got an email from Mom. He read it aloud. I don't understand why you're doing this. If you felt hurt, that's on you for misinterpreting my intentions. I only ever did what's best for this family. You've let outsiders poison you. Outsiders, I repeated. She means me. He nodded. We both laughed. A sad laugh. The kind you let out when something finally becomes too absurd to cry over anymore. She's allergic to accountability, I said. He smiled faintly. Guess I finally built up immunity. We didn't fix everything, but we started fixing something. Something real. Something that didn't require pretending. For the first time in a long, long time, I didn't feel erased. I just felt like a person, a daughter even, but on my own terms. Life settled into a quiet rhythm until the day another unexpected knock shattered that peace. Someone buzzed my apartment door. When I checked the camera, I froze. A figure stood there with a suitcase, shoulders hunched, eyes swollen. Lily, my twin sister, the girl who once shared everything with me, the woman who'd helped erase me. I opened the door slowly. She gave me a shaky half smile. Hey, she whispered. You're about 2,000 miles early for Christmas, I said. She huffed a watery laugh. Then her eyes filled, her voice cracked. Can I come in? Everything in me tightened. But I stepped aside. Yeah, come in. Because whatever was about to happen next, I could feel it in the air, wasn't going to be small. Lily stepped inside like she wasn't sure she was allowed to breathe here. Her suitcase wheels clicked softly over the floor, the sound too loud for how small she looked. This was my twin, the girl who used to finish my sentences, steal my sweaters, whisper jokes in church that made us both choke, trying not to laugh. Now she was a stranger wearing Lily's face. She set the suitcase down gently, then stood there twisting the strap of her purse between her fingers. I didn't tell Mom I was coming, she said quietly. She'd lose it. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed, not defensive, just steady. Then why are you here, Lily? Her gaze lifted. Her eyes were glossy with tears she was trying hard not to let fall. Because I need to say I'm sorry, for all of it. I didn't move, didn't rush toward her the way I would have years ago. She took a shaky breath and continued. Mom told me not to invite you to the baby shower, the engagement party, the wedding, everything. Her voice faltered. She said it would cause drama if you came. And I believed her. I thought, you didn't care anymore. I tilted my head. And it never occurred to you that maybe I should decide what I care about? She winced, tears finally spilling over. I know, I was stupid. I was scared of fighting with her. It was easier to let her run everything. There it was again. Easier. The word that had sliced me open more than once. I pushed off the counter. The problem, Lily, is everyone let her. Everyone watched while she twisted things, and no one questioned it. Not you, not Ryan, not Dad, no one. She nodded quickly, crying harder. You're right, I knew. Maybe not in the beginning, but I knew. I knew how she talked about you. I heard the lies. I saw the way she cropped you out of pictures. Her voice cracked. I didn't want to deal with her. I thought if I kept her happy, everything would stay calm. And I was the sacrifice, I said quietly. She dropped her head into her hands. I'm sorry. God, Alyssa, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how bad it was until Uncle Mark played that recording. I didn't know she was saying that stuff, about erasing you, about you not being part of the family. She swallowed hard. I felt sick. I let her cry, let her sit in the weight of it. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done letting her pretend ignorance was innocence. When she finally looked up, mascara smudged beneath her eyes, she whispered, You don't have to forgive me, but I needed to come here and tell you. I'm taking responsibility this time. I'm not letting her drag me with her anymore. Accountability. For the first time in years, the word didn't feel like a fantasy. I nodded once. That's all I wanted. Relief washed across her face like she'd been drowning and finally found air. We talked for a while, slowly, cautiously, like relearning a language we'd once been fluent in. Later that night, after Lily checked into her hotel, my phone buzzed with a notification from Emma. Family chat is on fire. I opened the screenshots she sent and felt my eyebrows lift. Lily had gone in hard. Lily, I need to say something. Mom lied about a lot. About Alyssa, about everything. She told us not to include her in events. She said she didn't care about the family. That wasn't true. I went to see her. She didn't leave us. We pushed her out. Mom replied instantly. Mom, stop embarrassing this family. You're being manipulated. Lily responded. Lily, no, Mom, I'm finally not being manipulated. Then Uncle Mark jumped in like the fearless champion he'd been this whole time. Mark, about time someone else said it. Alyssa deserved better than what you put her through. Mom's reply came fast. Mom, I don't need to justify myself to ungrateful people. Enjoy your little group therapy session. And then she left the chat. Just like that. Lily messaged me privately. She blocked me, but it's okay. I feel lighter. I smiled at the screen. Good, I wrote back. Welcome to freedom. A few days later, Mom's emails started. The first one was calm, fake calm. I can't believe you turned everyone against me. I gave you everything. You've twisted the truth. You're breaking this family apart. The second email came that night. Meaner, sharper. You've poisoned Lily and your father. You'll regret humiliating me. The third was short, small, almost deflated. You've changed. I typed slowly, letting every word settle before I sent it. I didn't leave the family, Mom. You pushed me out because I grew up. Enjoy the silence you created. Send. No shaking hands. No guilt. Just relief. Dad read it later and nodded. She'll never admit it, you know. I know, I said, but that's not my problem anymore. Weeks passed. Nothing magically became perfect, but everything became mine. Dad rented a small apartment a few blocks away. He fixed things in his own place now. Shelves, outlets, little projects that kept his hands busy and his mind calm. Uncle Mark dropped by sometimes with steaks and non-alcoholic beer replacements, doctor's orders, and toasted to truth, finally winning. Lily and I weren't completely healed, but we were talking honestly, and that alone felt like a miracle. Mom stayed in Dallas. I heard she tried to start a new family-only chat. No one joined. Turns out controlling people gets harder once they stop needing your approval. One night, I stood on my apartment balcony, city lights glowing beneath me. For the first time in years, my peace didn't feel temporary. It felt earned, real, quiet in a way that didn't scare me anymore. I didn't miss the noise. I didn't miss the guilt. I didn't miss being included in a system that only valued me when I paid for the privilege. I didn't even miss being part of their version of family. What I had now wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished. It wasn't Instagram worthy. But it was mine, and I planned to enjoy it. Exactly the way I told her to. The silence she created.